Good. So I will start sharing my screen so that you can, let me see. Okay, there we go. And also let me bring here the chat box so I can read your, don't worry, Matthias, that's okay. Good. Yes, now I can see all of you. Okay, very good. So today we are going to start a new unit, okay? We are going to talk about something related to this, okay? Oh, my bad. My mouse was, there we go. I think I need to change batteries, sorry. An accident, like Matthias said. Okay, so older and wiser, okay? So we have wisdom doesn't automatically come with old age. Nothing does except for wrinkles, okay? So this is a journalist and she was commenting on this. So now I have here two pictures, okay? Are you familiar with any of these characters? Yes? I suppose you are. Yoda, yes. One is Yoda and the other one is? She's very famous for comic strips, okay? It was actually Lulu's friend. Yes, Mafalda, okay? Good. Which one do you think it's wiser than the other? Or do you think that both of them are wise? Because Yoda is very old, right? And Mafalda, on the other hand, she's very, very young, okay? Both of them are wise, okay? Good. Good, good. So do you think that a person has to be old in order to be wise, or that you can be wise when you are still young? What do you think? Aha, very good, Nicolas. Mafalda is wise because the creator is wise. Okay. I think that also James Cameron, right? No? Steven Spielberg? Okay. No, it's not necessary. Very good. Very good. So we are going to talk about not only wisdom, but also how can we say that, for example, do you think that young people are more respectful than older people, or do you think that is the other way around, or that it depends? That could be as well. It depends on maybe how you were raised. Okay. Okay. Most of you said that it depends. Okay, we're humans, yes, it depends. Good, good. There is no wrong answer here, so yes. Okay, now we are going to take a look at these words, okay? So here we have two pictures. One is a elderly couple and the other one is a teenager couple, okay? So here are some adjectives. I want you to take a look at these adjectives and try to say, for example, let me write it here. For teenagers, let me write it as a, there we go, as a title. Now you can type down which of these do you think that go with teenagers? If you are familiar with any of these vocabulary. For example, absent-minded, adventurous, or bad-tempered, okay, lazy. Bruno, what page is it? It is page 18 and 19 of our books, okay? This is the student book, okay? So this is the page. Oh, there we go. You're welcome. Adventurous, okay. What about stubborn? Do you think that teenagers are stubborn? Or moody? A little sometimes, yes. And also moody, yes. What about narrow-minded? Do you think that they are narrow-minded as well? Elder people, okay. Okay. So what do you think about, for example, clumsy? Do you know what clumsy means? Okay. Maria Fe, don't worry, welcome. Okay, a clumsy person. For example, imagine that you are taking drinks or food for your friends and you have a tray, right? Let's pretend that this is a tray and you're putting things on, right? And then out of a sudden, you're a clumsy person because poof, it fell down to the ground, okay? Maybe you tripped, maybe your hands were slippery, and that is being clumsy, okay? Good. So let's see. We are now moving on to this, okay? So besides those adjectives that we had on the previous slide, we're going to talk about these vocabulary as well, okay? I want you to take a look and let me know which ones are familiar to you, okay? For example, we have wrinkled skin, contact lenses, false teeth, gray wigs, deal with, breaks down, eyesight, contact lenses, I already said that, treat you, makeup, being through, or to be or not ready. New words for you, okay, all of them. Okay. Contact lenses, yes. For example, in my case, I used to wear contact lenses, but now I cannot go to the pharmacy to buy them. So I have to wear my regular glasses, okay? False teeth, yes. You know when you break your teeth and then you have to replace it for a new one, but it's not a natural one. Makeup, the most common one here, I think it's makeup, right? What about eyesight? I have a very bad eyesight. I mean, if I take off my glasses, I can see the screen and I can see you, but I cannot see what's behind it. I mean, all the things in my desk or my book stand, I see all blurry. Wrinkled skin, yes. Short-sighted. You cannot see things, anything without glasses. Yeah, me too, myopia high. Gray wing, okay, gray wigs, yes. What is a wig? Do you know what's a wig? Maria and Claudia, yes, we have to create a club of bad eyesight, right? Okay, a wig, let me show you an example of a wig, okay? So this is a wig, okay? Something that you technically put, okay? In this case, this one is light blue, but here it says gray wigs. Why do you think color gray? Yes, old, okay. For elder people, okay, good. Okay, very good. What about to deal with something? What is that? When you say that you're dealing with something? Hello, Gustavo, welcome. That's okay, don't worry. We're doing a review of vocabulary to see if we're familiar or not with this new vocabulary that we're going to learn today. To face something and its consequences, okay. When you try to solve your problems, yes. When you agree, let's see. Okay, when you try to overcome your problems, good, very good. And what about to be or not be ready? When do we say that we are ready? In which situation? When we are prepared, when we are able, yes. When we feel confident to do something, or when we don't feel confident to do something in the case of not being ready, right? When we are prepared, yes. When you're okay to do something, okay. When you're decided, okay, you're like, yes, I'm encouraged, I will do this, okay. Good. For example, all of you are ready for our English class. See? Okay. Good. Now, we are going to do the following. Of course, Agustin, yes. So remember that we saw those adjectives, right? When I show you the pictures of the couples, the teenager and the elderly couples, okay? So here we have two pictures. Which ones do you think that go with these people? Can you say that they look, for example, adventurous or bad-tempered or lazy or unenthusiastic or wise? Tell me at least one. Adventurous, okay. Wise, good. Wise, very good. Could be, if you take a look at them, moody, okay. Kind, okay. They look bad-tempered, yes, maybe because of the frowning, right? Stubborn, okay. Narrow-minded. What is moody? Moody is when you are, for example, you are, they look a little lazy, okay. Kind of unenthusiastic, fair enough. Moody is, for example, when you have, when a situation defines your mood, okay? When it's not necessarily when you have mood swings, but the situation is the one that is making you change your mood, okay? Most of the time you let your surrounding to influence your mood, okay? They look fake, okay? Why do you say that? Left one, bad-tempered, okay? Good. Let's see. Samira said that they look fake, okay? So moody, okay? So we're going to see why. It seems that they're using masks, yes. They're using, like, you know, when horror movies, for example, they do use a lot of prosthetics, you know, latex prosthetics to make scars or things like that. In this case, yes, they are wearing prosthetics and makeup as well. So if you take a look here, we are going to have a reading section, and I will ask for volunteers as well so that you can read something. So here we have the picture of two people. If we take a look at the previous slide, do you think that these people are the same ones that are here? Okay, yes, right? Good. So let's see, let's find out what is this about, okay? Of course, yes, especially in the eyes, right? So let's see. Do I have a volunteer to start reading this section? This is on page 18. Marian Ferreira. Okay, you are the first volunteer of today. Okay. Hello, Marian, how are you?
Hello, teacher. Can I start?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Trading Ages. For a BBC TV documentary, 29-year-old Caroline Bell and 32-year-old Nick Sidney experienced what it was like to be old. It took 5 hours every morning to make Caroline and Nick look like elderly people in their 70s. They were given synonym, brink, skin, false teeth, and gray wigs. They also wore bodysuits to make them look fatter and contact lenses to make their eyes look older. Discomfort of the makeup, the heavy suits, and the contact lenses, which made their eyesight worse, gave them a small taste of the physical problems of old age. They were also coached to walk and speak like people in their 70s. Then they have to live each day for a month as an old person, with a video diary to record their experience and hidden cameras to record how other people react to them.
Very, very good. Thank you. Okay, so yes, they were actually the ones who were on the previous slide, right? So how does this story continues? Let's see. Do I have another volunteer to read the first paragraph of the second page? This is on page 19, okay? So the second part is on page 19. Let me type it. There we go. Okay. It starts on page 18. Johnny. Okay, Johnny, you are my second volunteer. Let's see.
Hello.
Hello, how are you, Johnny?
Fine, thank you.
Good. You can start.
Afterward, both of them described the invisibility of being old. Caroline was astonished to be ignored by some workmen who only hours before had been whistling at her. When she had been an attractive young woman, Nick said, I learned that how people treat you depends on what you look like. On one occasion, a bus driver treated him very rudely when he tried to pay his fare with a large bill. I was amazed. He wouldn't have talked like that if my young self. Nick was also nearly robbed when he was taking money out of an ATM.
Very good, thank you. Okay, so basically what happened here, they were transformed, let's say, into old people. And they did a social experiment, right? And they recorded everything. So things were not the same as if they were their true selves, okay? So let's see, another volunteer. Who can be another volunteer? Tiago, this is on page 19 of our books, okay? Oh, sorry, 19, typo. Okay. Hello, Tiago, how are you? Good. Whistling. Whistling is, you know, when you are, for example, at the stadium and you don't like the referee's choice, or maybe he pull out a card to someone and you're like, you know, I cannot whistle like that. Or do you remember that meme of Peppa Pig when she called her friend and she was like, whistling is impossible, and then her friend was whistling and then she hung up on her? Yeah, that's whistling. It's the sound that you produce with your lips when you put it together and you blow. Basically, like, there we go. That's all the whistling I can do. Okay. Wrinkles. Wrinkles are age marks, okay? For example, when you smile in an exaggerated way, like, and you see all the fine lines here or in your forehead as well, those are wrinkles. The things that people do tend to use Botox on to reduce the appearance of wrinkles, or age marks as they call it. Okay, good. Any other question regarding vocabulary from this section of the reading? No? Okay, good. Eyesight. Eyesight is, for example, I have really bad eyesight, okay? Because if I take off my glasses, I cannot see anything basically, right? I can only see things that are very, very close to me, but not far away from me. That's having a bad eyesight, okay? That's the main reason why I wear glasses. Guilty. When you, for example, when you do something that you are not very proud of, that you don't feel very good after doing something that was wrong, you feel guilt, okay? And you feel guilty. Good. So do I have another volunteer to read this? Let's see, who can raise their hand or put an emoji? Gabriela, okay. Let me find you. Oh, there we go. Hello.
Huh?
How are you?
Hi. Okay. There is a point in the documentary when Caroline breaks down and cries. It comes at the end of the day out with her two new senior citizen friends, Betty and Sylvia, who she met at the community center. It is partly because she feels guilty that she is tricking them, but mainly because she realized that there are individuals and not just members of what she had previously thought of as the elderly. They were talking about real things and feel unqualified. I didn't have that life experience. They had been through so much. It made me realize how ignorant I was. It was as I feel was seeing the young people inside them before I would have just seen the wrinkles.
Very good, thank you. So, yes, what happened with Caroline? Caroline was already being friends with more elderly people. Remember that this was a social experiment in which they were extremely committed to do, okay? That means that every single day they had to put on their costumes, right? They had to they had to wear weights. You know, for example, when most elderly people have, I don't know, maybe back aches, right? So they had to build weight so that they could feel old as well. It's not only the looks, but also feeling old. Good, thank you. Do we have another volunteer to continue reading? Oh, 3 of you raised your hand. Okay, let's see. The first one. Okay, Diana, you raised your hand. Hello, Diana.
Hi. Hi.
Good.
Okay. At the start of the documentary, Caroline had said that all people scare her, and that in spite of loving her 86 years old grandmother, who lives in a retirement home, she had found it hard to visit her. Both she and Nick found making the program life-changing. Nick said, "I'd never thought that about getting old before." Caroline said, "The whole experience of living as an old person helped me to understand them far better, and also to understand myself." One of the things that surprised me most was how important relationships still were to elderly people.
Very good, thank you. Okay. Do you have so far any questions here with vocabulary? Something that is not completely clear yet before we move on? We have 2 more people who raised their hands, so. Spite, okay. In spite of loving her 86-year-old grandmother. So that's like, regardless, she was loving her grandmother, she could not visit her, even though could be a synonym, okay? Breaks down. Here, breaks down, breaks down, breaks down. Oh, Marian, you raised your hand. Oh, that's okay, don't worry. Ingrid, okay, Ingrid, you want to continue reading? This is the last part, okay? Don't worry, Marian.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? Let me mute
Can you
my...
hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Let me mute myself. There you go.
Okay. One of the things that surprised me the most was how important relationships still were in elder people. I was shocked by the fact that older people could still have their hearts broken. After a while, I felt like one of them. I felt in a way that they were just young people in an old body trying to deal with the problems of old age. I'm not ready to be 73, but I'm not scary like I was.
Very good, thank you. Yes, Andrea, to break down, for example, breakdown has many meanings. In this case, is that For example, when you cannot take it anymore. You cannot hold a situation for any longer. So you break down. You either have an emotional crisis, or you scream, or you cry. Okay, that is the way in which your body tells you that that's it, right? You break down. And here, for example, in Caroline's case, she broke down and she cried. Okay, it was like too much to handle, and she cried because of that. That is to break down. Okay, good. So do you have any other question? Don't worry, you're welcome. Let's see. Good. So let's move on, okay? Let's try to remember what we just read. So here we have, for example, we need to answer a question of who was the person that, right? And it could be both. It could be Caroline, or it could be Nick, okay? So who found the physical preparation for his or her role very uncomfortable? Just what you remember. Just write K or N or B in the chat box. If you don't remember, that's okay. Don't worry. Okay, Caroline. K, B. All right. Good. Let's see. Yes, both of them. Both of them. Very good. Now, who was given classes on how to move like an elderly person? Because imagine if you are going to become an old person, you cannot go there and run unless you have the physical preparation to do so, but. And B, okay, let's see. Yes, both of them. Very good. Now, who was surprised at not being noticed by people who had previously reacted to him or her? This was only one person. Okay. Most of you say Caroline. Okay, let's see. Yes, she was talking about the men at the construction that they were whistling at her. Okay. Who noticed that people were less polite to older people? B and N. N, Nick, right? Remember when he was trying to pay his bus fare with a large bill? Polite. Polite is when you are respectful, when you're kind to someone, when you're considerate with someone. Like you with me, for example. Me with you, for example. That's to be polite. You're welcome. So who found that playing the role of an older person made him or her more emotional? Okay, you say K. Yes, why? Because she broke down, as we said earlier, and she started crying, right? Good. Now, who realized that old people were very different from what he or she had previously imagined? See that sometimes we do have some ideas regarding something, and then they turn out to be completely different. K, B, let's see. Yes, K. And she found out this when she was talking to her elderly friends. Who used to be frightened of old people or scared of old people? Okay, let's see. A lot of K's. Yes, you were right. Who had never worried about what it would be to be old? Who was the person who didn't consider this? Okay, most of you say N. Very good, it was Nick. And who hadn't expected love and friendship to be so important to old people? Right. It's Kay. Very good. So, yes, Caroline. She said that she realized that most elderly people were like a young person inside of someone else's body, right? Kind of like they were. Good. Now, let's go back to our vocabulary. So now I think that we are familiar with most of these, right? And we are going to do the following. I want you to take a look at this, and we are going to move on to this exercise, okay? So I will write down here the highlighted verb phrases. Those were, if you have your book on hand, you can see all the highlighted phrases that are on page 19, okay? So I will write it down here on the chat box so that you can have easy access to it in case you don't have your book, for example. So what do you think matches to be prepared? Is it treat you? Is it breaks down? Is it been through? Is it deal with? Or is it to be ready? Okay, most of you say number 5, number 4, number 5. Let's check. Yes, it's number 5. Very good. So let me erase number 5. I will put again on the chat box the rest that we still haven't used. There we go. What about behave toward you? Okay, number 1. Most of you said number 1. You're still typing. Let's see. Number 1. Let's see. Yes, it was number 1. Now, experienced. We have only 3 more options. Okay. Number 3. Very good. Yes, it was number 3. Now, we have no longer number 4 and yes, number 4 and number 2 are the ones that we still have, okay? Loses control of his or her feelings. Yes, it's to break down. Very good. What about, well, we already know that is number 4, to solve a problem or do a task, okay? Very good. Do you have any questions so far? Yes, no? Task. For example, a task can be, would you please complete page 19 of your book? That's a task, a chore. Yes, it could be a chore as well. Or for example, could you please send this via email? And you have to write a letter and do things like that, okay? Toward you is to you, for example, okay? Remember that number 1 was treat you, right? So to behave toward you means that that is the, there is a rapport that someone has with you, okay? Good, very good. Okay, so let's see. You're welcome. Now we are going to start my favorite part of the class and your favorite part of the class as well, right? Yes, come on. Grammar, yes, okay. F in the chat. Good. So remember these pictures that we were looking at the beginning of our class? I want you to read 2 sentences, and I want you to tell me which one do you think it's true. Old people have a harder life than young people, or young people have a harder life than old people. What do you think about this? Okay, the first one. The second one, okay. Remember, there are no wrong answers here. So whatever you think it's correct, maybe it is, okay? It depends on personal experiences. Very good, Samira, yes. I don't think that age has to do with this, but it's the situation more than the age, right? So let's see. Maybe both. Yes, maybe both. In what page is it? In our slide. This is not from the book, but we will get there. We're going to work on the grammar bank very soon. So today we are going to talk about adjectives, okay? So we're going to talk about adjectives as noun. Yes, teenagers are way more dramatic though. Maybe you say that because you haven't met my grandma. Yes, I got that from her. And also adjective order. So this is on our grammar bank section. Remember that that is on page 136, okay? We are going to work with, 135, okay? We're going to work with this part of the book, which is, you know, the blue section. Let me write it down here on the chat box so that you can find this, this page, 135, okay? Very good. So, for example, here, can I have a volunteer to read this? Someone raising your hand? Tiago, okay.
Hello,
Hello, how are you? Let me mute my
I'm
microphone so
fine,
we
teacher.
can hear you. You can start.
Okay, you can use the plus some adjectives to talk about groups of people. For example, nationalities that end in CH, SH, ESE, and SS. Example, the French, the Spanish, the British, the Japanese, the Irish, and the Swiss, etc. Not the SH. Most other nationality words are nouns and are used in the plural. Example, the Brazilians, the Peruvians, the Turks, the South Koreans, the Argentinians, etc. Specific groups in society, for example, the young, the old, or the elderly, the sick, people who are ill, the blind, the deaf, the homeless, the dead. We can use it to talk about one person. One person use. Example, a Japanese woman, a rich man, etc. No, a Japanese, a rich. You can also use adjective plus people to talk about a group of people. Example, poor people, homeless people, old people, Thai people.
Very good, thank you. So this is exactly what we were doing previously. Remember that I told you old people have a harder life than young people. I wasn't saying an old person, I was referring to a group of people, okay? So more examples of this could be, the English are famous for drinking tea, you know? The Chinese invented paper. The Dutch make wonderful cheese. Or we can also say the poor are getting poorer and the rich are getting richer. The government needs to create more jobs for the unemployed. Okay, so when we are referring to a group of people, we can use these adjectives as nouns. Okay, good. Now, we are going to do exercises. Before we move on, do you have any question? Do you want me to explain again the grammar part? I think we are familiar with this, okay? So what I would like you to do is the following. We're going to go over this exercise together, right? And I want you to write on the chat box. For example, if we say people from Vietnam enjoy spicy food, we will say the Vietnamese, right? What about people from the Netherlands? Can you write on the chat box, how do you refer to people from the Netherlands? It says, people from the Netherlands tend to be good at languages. Okay, it's okay. If you have no idea, just say that as well, okay? Good. Let's see, here. I think it was here. Oh, Franco, you got it. But how do you say, and also Miguel, very good. How do you say this like the Vietnamese, for example? It would be the, very good, the Dutch, okay? What about Clara Barton took care of the people who weren't well during the American Civil War? How do you refer to people who are not well? The sick, yes, sick people, yeah. If you're not feeling well, injured people could be, good, okay. I want you to tell me here and then we are going to check the answers, okay? Sick people, okay, the sick ones, fair enough. What about the system of reading for people who can't see? It's called Braille, okay, or Braille. Your teacher as well, yes. Well, actually, my myopia stopped for a while now. Okay, the blind people, okay. What about people from China have a fascinating history? They do. Okay, the Chinese people, the Chinese, very good. Good. The Chinese people, very good. What about number 5? Ambulances arrived to take the people who had been injured to the hospital. How can we refer to this kind of people? The injured, okay, very good. Injured people. The injured, okay. Very good. Let's see. Let's check all the answers. Are you ready for this? Yes, very good. So we have the Dutch for number 1. We have the sick for number 2, the blind for number 3, the Chinese for number 4, and the injured for number 5, okay? Good. Now, I have some more examples. Why? Because practice makes perfect. Good. People from Switzerland are usually very punctual. How do you call the people from Switzerland? Very good. The Swiss people, okay. Yes, very good. The worst season for people without a home is winter. How do you call the people without a home? The homeless, yes, very good, the homeless. Number 8 says, there is a discount for students and people without a job. How do you call people without a job? It would be like 40% of Paraguayan population right now because of the pandemic, right? The unemployed, yes, the unemployed, very good. Now, the monument was erected to honor the people who died during World War II. Veterans, soldiers, the dead, people who died. How do we call them? It's not zombies, remember, okay? Good, the dead, very good. What about number 10? There are special TV shows for people who can't hear that use sign language. How do we refer to people who can't hear? The deaf, okay. Deaf, very good, okay. Let's check the answers, okay. So we have, number 6 is the Swiss, very good, most of you got it right. The worst season for the homeless is number 7. Number 8 is the unemployed. Number 9 is the dead. And number 10 is the deaf. Remember to make the difference between the dead and the deaf, okay? Pronunciation. Good. questions so far? Yes, no, clear? No questions, okay. Clear, very good. See, that's because you are wonderful. You always tell me, oh, teacher, no grammar, but then you nail every single exercise of grammar, okay? Good. Now, we are going to do our last exercise of grammar, okay? I'm not going to torture you anymore. So we're going to look at the sentences in 1 and 2 below, and we are going to decide if they're right or wrong. We're going to judge these sentences, okay? And we are going to put a check mark, or you can say yes or right. And wrong, you can say no or wrong, right? So, for example, the old have a harder life than the young. This is the example of the pictures. What do you think? This is on page 19, okay? It's on page 19. Okay, Tiago, you think that it's right? It's A, okay, right? Let's see. It is right, check. Very good, Franco. So now, the old people have a harder life than the young people. Is the opposite. Okay, so do you think it's a check, it's right, it's wrong? It's wrong, okay, it's right. Good. Let's check. It is wrong. Why? What is wrong here? It is not the young, right? Yes, very good. It says the. So if we are going to correct this, it should be something like old people have a harder life than young people, or the old have a harder life than the young, and we don't use the word people, okay? So what about 1C? Old people have a harder life than young people. Is this right or wrong? Okay, right. Let's check. Yes, it is right. What about the man was with a blonde, tall Canadian woman? Okay, most of you said right. Why don't we use the in B? Excellent question. Why? Because we are referring to a group of people. We cannot say the old people, right? We can either say the old or old people, okay? It's redundancy, yes. Okay, let's check. Right, it's wrong. Yeah. So what about the man was with a tall Canadian blonde woman? Is it right or wrong? What do you think? Wrong, okay. Right. Let's see. It is wrong. Why? Can someone tell me why is it wrong? The man was with the order. Excellent. Yes. Very good. Because of the order. Very good. Okay. So what about the last one? The man was with a tall blonde Canadian woman. Is the adjective order. You know that sometimes we cannot say, when we are using a lot of adjectives, we have to use them, for example, opinion, size, age, okay? On Saturday's class, I will expand on that, okay? Most of you said that this is right, and it is right. Good. So, do you have any questions with this section? Nope, very good. Remember, Saturday class, we are going to expand on adjective order, okay? For today, we just covered the adjectives as nouns. Yes, Tiago, there is an order when we are using more than one adjective, okay? Good, very good. See, you survived grammar and you did a great job. Now, production part, yes, we are going to do, guess what? A video, very good. So we're going to use the new vocabulary. You can use all the vocabulary that is on page 18 and 19 of our book, okay? We are going to describe people by giving specific details about them. For example, describe a group of people from another country compared to our country. Some people say that maybe, let's take into account Americans versus Paraguayans, right? Some people say that Americans are colder than Paraguayans. Why? Because most people say that Paraguayan people are very heartwarming kind of people, very friendly, right? You are going to record a video of yourself describing your friends or family members. For example, I can say my grandmother is a very open-minded person. She doesn't have any wrinkles and she wears glasses because she also has a bad eyesight, okay? So you're going to give some details. Or you can record a video of yourself answering if you agree or disagree with the statements that are on page 19 of the book, okay? And you're going to tell me why do you agree or why do you disagree. Let me show you. Yes. So here Master Yoda has the sentences that we have on page 19. Let me write it down here at the chat box again. Okay, so it's not homework, but yes. It will be page 19, just for you to keep in mind, right? Good. For example, the elderly have best looked after in retirement homes, not at home. Okay, for example, do you agree that if you are getting old, you should go to a retirement house or that you should stay with your family, and why? Or, for example, the government could and should do more for the unemployed. Do you agree or disagree with this? In my opinion, I agree because many people, or most people, need a job in order to survive in society, right? Good. So, do you have any questions regarding today's class that I could write down and we're going to discuss them on the next class? Let me know. Johnny, you have to check on the platform, okay? We're going to give all the information there in the platform. We're going to also be uploading videos there. Tonight, I think that there will be the previous classes there. And then tomorrow and the Saturday, we're going to upload more. Okay, Gabriela, ask anyways. Yes. You're welcome. Good. So let me stop sharing my screen so I can go back and see all of you, even though that some of you do not have your videos on, and that's okay.